Now that this week is over, I can acknowledge the amount of times I got absolutely slapped by the markets. This week I must have taken about 11 trades, which is horrific to say. But it is what it is, man. I can't really rewrite the past. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the 2 trades I ended up taking today. Both of them, really good trades. I'm happy with them. Unfortunately, they both lost, which brings me to a total P&L of minus $2,150 on the day. So let's get into it. Now, before we get into the trades, let's just acknowledge my streak right now. Break even, loss, win, loss, break even, loss. That's not good, man. Like, the amount of trades I've taken this week is just horrific, man. 12 trades, you crazy. And look, I'm open to losing on a week. Like, let's take yesterday. I made a few trades that I shouldn't have taken, but overall, I'm accepting that I lost on the day. Today, I placed 2 great trades. Unfortunately, both of them went straight to my SL. It's unfortunate, but I did what I could. So I'm not going to be annoyed at all with the results that I got given. So yeah, man, let's actually get into these trades I took. So as you can see, I took 1 short upon market open today. And then I took another short after getting stopped out of that first one. So as you can see, you might say, oh, it's a stretch looking for a 1 to 4.3. Oh, it's a stretch looking for a 1 to 6.4 risk to reward. Like, literally, bro, it's really not. But man, I mean, I've had guys commenting on my TikTok saying, longs were free, bro. And it's like, fucking hell, what are you actually talking about? Today was not a free day. If you were patient enough to wait for price to manipulate inside this whole block and then displace out of it, you could have capitalized on longing the market, maybe up to London high, maybe up to previous day high. Like, that's cool. But to me, honestly, price was so bearish. So now we're going to talk about why I was bearish on the day. So, jumping into market open, we can understand that this week has already been complete crap. I mean, for me, personally, it's been crap. I've also not been able to read price very efficiently because, in my eyes, price action was crap this week. On Monday, it was a bank holiday, so no trading. On Tuesday, it was a post-bank holiday. That means we have a massive opening gap range to fill. We ended up filling it, but I got manipulated twice and stopped out once on the way there. Didn't take any wins on that. Wednesday comes along. In my eyes, we were bearish. It was clearly obvious that we were bullish. I ended up getting stopped out a lot of times on that. Thursday comes along. What happened on Thursday? I ended up just taking a few losses and a break even. Today comes along. I end up taking great setups and I lose both of them. So jumping into the morning, we can see that we are in this structural range. We're in this structural range because we haven't actually swept out any high time frame buy side liquidity, and we've got a bunch of internal stack sell side liquidity. So maybe you could say it's a 50-50 short on today's bias, but altogether, this is the reason why I was bearish on the day. So if we go to our top down analysis, we have got a daily fair value gap below. Now, obviously, that's not going to be my only confluence, but that is a huge external draw on sell side liquidity. On the 4-hour chart, we can see we're chopping around a lot, but we have closed below this down close candle. Now, that is not a massive confluence once again, but after we have retraced into this 1-hour fair value gap, tapped into 50% of it, rejected off of it, making our way down to sell side liquidity, it is pretty evidential that we've got a very strong draw on liquidity. Today, what are the draws on liquidity? We have got our opening gap range, which was actually bullish, but it didn't matter because it was filled as soon as market opened. As you can see, if we go on the 1 minute chart, Price automatically went to the upside, filled it, and then made its way down again. So if I'm bearish on the day, with my external draws on liquidity being previous day low, and my internal draws on liquidity being these relative equal lows. So I don't know when that was. That was yesterday's New York session low, and today's London low. Man, it was so evidential that we would have a sell-off. So what am I going to be looking for? I'm going to look for some manipulation. I'm going to look for some S&Ts because I've already got my confident draw on liquidity, and naturally we're going to see a change in state delivery if we're going to be bearish. So off the bat, price ends up sweeping this high, creating our internal S&T. So from this point, I was like, cool, I'm not going to enter unless I see some internal manipulation, and that is exactly what we had. We ran to the downside off of the 30 on the, let's go on the 30-second chart. So we ran to the downside, getting a closure down here. We then ran up again. Here is the manipulation. You can say that's not good enough. I don't actually give a shit. That is definitely good enough for me. Unfortunately, I got a pretty late entry, which kind of screwed my risk to reward in this trade, but I was still very confident with it, hence why I still took it. So, having all of this low resistance liquidity resting with London low, yesterday's New York session low, and previous day low, it was like, bro, why would you not take this setup? It's your setup. We've got every single reason to move to the downside. So that is the exact thought process I had. We saw the CISD, so I entered. I entered about here, stop loss being up here. Naturally, I go for a 1 to 2 at the minimum, but I would have actually been targeting previous day low. So if you're on the 1 minute chart, we can also understand that as well as our internal 30-second change in state delivery, we've had a 1 minute change in state delivery. We've also had a 1 minute inverse for value gap. So look, everything is pointing towards bearish price action. We've got a bunch of stack lows here. We've got a bunch of stack lows here. We've got London low, previous day low. We've closed below the opening gap ranges. So cool. My stop loss is wide enough because I have very good belief in this trade. My break-even point will be as soon as that low is swept. So the trade plays out. We end up going down a bit. We end up retracing into this inversion again. At this point, I was like, cool. We have got zero reason to move back to this newly made high since we have already manipulated internally. So from here, what do? I'm going to scale in and keep my risk the same. So originally, I went into this trade with 3 micros. I went in with 3 micros here, stop loss being up here, being minus $250, take profit being all the way down here. As soon as I see a leg up and then a leg down, I end up scaling in another 2 contracts right here, which moved my average to about here, and my stop loss got moved to the most recent high, which was now $270 I was risking. So now I'm risking $270 more for about $400 or $500 more profit. So look, man, it's just a great risk to reward, great scaling in, way of scaling in. So yeah, that's all that needs to be said, man. My stop loss moves from here to this newly made internal high. Price then almost sweeps out the break even. It wasn't even edge galore today. It wasn't even edge galore. It was just complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. No joke at all. Why did this move? Why did the markets manipulate so much down here to then just run higher? Some people can say it's because YM had already taken out a previous day low. ES had already taken out London low. So naturally, on the charts, what are we going to see? We're going to see our S&T holding here with YM, and we are also going to see an S&T here holding with ES because ES swept out London low, NQ didn't. But look, man, that is not a good enough reason to have such a bullish sporadic move to the upside. But honestly, I'm not here to predict. I'm not here to say what I want to see. I'm just here to react to what the market's telling me. And the market told me we're going down, at least to these internal lows. Unfortunately, we didn't. And what did I learn from that? I learned that I'm not going to be trading inside a fucking box again because this price action has been so horrific. So, getting that anger out of me, what do I do next? I'm going to be risking less than I did in my original trade. And honestly, I still wanted to see bearish price action. So I can see that this inversion for value gap is holding itself. I understand that at 9:45, news is going to come out. So in this candle, the 9:45 a.m., news is going to come out. I end up seeing us sweep the high of the 9:45 open. Everything aligns for price to go down to these sell side targets. We end up also having another inversion here, but I ended up getting an entry about here on the charts. Stop loss at the recent high, targeting my break-even point being these lows, taking 2 contracts off at London low and leaving the other 3 to previous day low. And as we can see, price action was a complete spastic again and just ran straight to stop loss. So it was a tiring week, man. It was a tiring week. Currently on this account, trade win percent 28%. I'm down a total of $910 across each of my accounts. I have literally won 0 trades. I've won 1 trade in the past week of trading. And yeah, man, I am grateful that I stuck to my rules today. I did absolutely everything humanly possible I could. There's always going to be another what if when you hop on the markets and you don't get the results that you desire. But today, what did I do? I managed my risk perfectly. I ended up taking a loss on an A-star setup and I firmed it perfectly because what can I do if the market doesn't favor my draw on liquidity? When that's the draw on liquidity on the table, like, bro, price action was not bullish today. Price action was bearish. If you faded shorts both times, then man, it's like, it doesn't even matter. I'm not part of that group. I'm not part of the group where I'm going to sit on my arse because I don't like every single thing that I see. I'm going to take what is given to me. I'm going to be discretionary. I'm going to lock up my accounts when I need to. So look, as soon as I lost that second trade today, that was it, man. That was it. That was me off the markets completely. Next week, I could imagine is going to be pretty odd. I mean, as we can see, a reflection of this week, man, price was just being a fucking arsehole. So, hey, I'm not here to complain. I'm just here to do everything in my power to bring me the results that I want. So, thank you for watching the video. If you watched to the end, well done. Give yourself a pat on the back, and I'll see you next week.